Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Amar bin Salim. I work for the marketing team at the Office of Advancement at LUMS. A very warm welcome to all of you to the third day of our Knowledge Week for Sayyid Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering. Today, inshallah, we'll be talking about two main disciplines, mathematics and biology. If you have been following our programs, then you would know that on the very first day of the Knowledge Week, we talked about the computer science discipline and the programs offered at the graduate level. Yesterday, our discussion was about the electrical engineering discipline. Again, as I've mentioned, today we'll talk about two disciplines, mathematics and biology, and tomorrow would be the last day to talk about the graduate programs, and we'll discuss the MS and PhD physics and MS and PhD chemistry programs. So make sure you're also joining us then too. At the same time, I'd like to remind you, we conduct these webcasts because it gives us a chance to communicate with you, converse with you, engage you into our discussion. And if you have any questions, if you have some suggestions, if you're applying and you are unsure about the application process, the whole admission process, then this is your chance to converse with us and get answers to your queries. So I'm very, very thankful to Dr. Shahzad Hassan, Dr. Hania Azam, and Ms. Kinza Mumtaz for joining us today. Dr. Shahzad Hassan is an associate professor at the Department of Biology at SBASSE, which is short for Sayyid Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering. He's also a former member of SGPC. Dr. Hania Azam is an assistant professor at the Department of Mathematics at Sayyid Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering, and Ms. Kinza Mumtaz is a current student enrolled in the MS Mathematics program at SBASSE LUMS. Thank you very much for taking time out and being with us.
Thank you.
डॉक्टर शहजाद, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि अगर आप स्कूल का सैयद बाबर अली स्कूल ऑफ साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग को इंट्रोड्यूस करवाएं, एंड प्लीज आल्सो टॉक अबाउट द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोलॉजी एंड द प्रोग्राम्स दैट वी आर ऑफरिंग एट द ग्रेजुएट लेवल.
Okay, so this school, Sayyid Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering, is possibly one of the best schools in Pakistan, and it incorporates 6 different disciplines.
Okay.
The basically fundamental principle of the school is no boundary among different sciences. So the 6 different discipline incorporates engineering, electrical engineering, mathematics, physics, computer science, and then basic sciences like chemistry, biology, and physics. And there are several kind of research projects which are interdisciplinary, mean that there is a scientific question where different disciplines, they come together to solve the scientific question.
Okay.
So as far as biology program is concerned, the graduate program of biology, so we have MS program and then we have PhD program. So let me talk briefly about MS program. We have 2 different streams of MS program. One, we call it basic molecular and cell biology stream. Another is bioinformatics stream. So when students are admitted, some of the courses are common, which are necessary possibly for their education, but they can choose either of these 2 streams of biology, which is bioinformatics and cell and molecular biology. The program consists of 30 credit hours.
30 credit
30 credit hours, which include 24 credit hours different courseworks, including some core courses which are compulsory,
Okay.
and then some elective courses. There's a list of around 20 different elective courses students can choose from.
Okay.
And 6 credit hour research is also part of this program, because after the first year, students choose their research project. They talk to different faculty members, they develop their interest, and they join some of the research groups in biology department, and then they work for 2 semesters in their second year on certain scientific question of biology. And they get actually really good exposure of different modern scientific technique and how to perform research, and which is really, really helpful for their future,
Of course.
if they want to pursue their graduate study in PhD.
And Dr. Shahzad, as you were telling us, 24 credits hote hain in
Right,
total.
right.
So that would mean that they'll have to, with regards to their coursework, there will be 8 courses. Agar 3 credit hours.
Generally 3
Generally.
credits, yeah.
ठीक है, okay, बिल्कुल सही. So we'll come back to the discipline of biology. I'm sure there are multiple questions with regards to the field. I still remember from our last webcast हमने last year किए थे, there were lots of questions.
Okay.
कि मैंने कौन सी field लेनी है, क्या ये field offer की जाती है biology के अंदर के नहीं. But so yeah, if you have such questions, please make sure you are using this opportunity and writing to us wherever you're watching this program in the comments section. Please उसमें अपना question लिखें. Our social media team is connected with me. They'll route your questions to me, and inshallah will find. I'm gonna make sure कि आपके questions में उनका answer मैं ढूंढ के आपको दूँ. Dr. Hania, I'd request that you also please introduce the Department of Mathematics to our listeners, and also talk about the PhD program in mathematics, and also the MS program being offered.
Right. Thank you very much. So, like Dr. Shahzad said, that SSC itself is a unique experiment in Pakistan. And it's this unique school which has this, it was formed on this basic premise of having no boundaries. So within SSC, math department becomes this, unique math department which offers this opportunity to students to pursue mathematics, and at the same time, they have at their disposal this opportunity to make linkages, interdisciplinary linkages with other researchers in SSC. और इसकी बहुत सारी मिसालें मौजूद हैं हमारे डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर, जो स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं वो they liaise with other researchers, EE में, CS में, also in physics. So basically जो math department है, अगर मैं आपको उसका छोटा सा brief सा overview दूँ, तो उसमें हमारे पास we have algebra, जिसमें expertise रखते हैं लोग.
That is something I know.
That's
अभी भी.
Right. अब मैं आपसे कोई सवाल भी कर सकती हूँ. सोच समझ के कहना. जैसे आप अपने CVs में लिखते हैं ना, I like to read books. तो उसमें इंटरव्यू में सवाल किया जा सकता है, कौन सी, which was the last book you read and when. मैं ज़्यादा सवाल नहीं पूछूंगा. So एक तो algebra है. ठीक है. फिर हमारे पास analysis है, जिसमें लोग functional analysis, operator theory की तरफ interest रखते हैं. We have a very thriving group on numerical computation, जिसमें लोग interested हैं और काम करते हैं. We have some financial mathematics. We also have a bio mathematical stream, जिसके अंदर not a stream per se, but उसमें researchers हैं जो बहुत actively उसको pursue कर रहे हैं, और students भी हैं. And then we have differential equations of all sorts, so partial differential equations, fractional differential equations, so on and so forth. So of late, our department has become a very happening place. We have a very exciting new series which is called John Conway Spirited Mathematical Research Seminar Series, and these are basically supposed to be interactive and colloquium style talks. तो उसमें students भी और faculty भी सब बहुत उससे जोश व खरोश से उसमें हिस्सा लेते हैं, and which is really it has become like a part of the culture of our department, which was not so active before. But this has really breathed a new life into our department, so इससे भी बहुत help हो रहा है. There are a bunch of so basically we have our graduate program has 2 degrees to offer, is MS in mathematics and PhD, और उसमें coursework है जो MS and PhD students share करते हैं, and of course the second year of the MS program offers an opportunity to do a master's thesis, and PhD में after the coursework students pursue their doctoral thesis with their supervisor. And I don't know if you want me to talk about some opportunities that students have apart from this. I can talk about that now, or maybe we can
we'll just make sure that we are making it a part of our discussion.
Right.
I want to go to Kinza, but I was very happy कि मतलब कुछ बातें मतलब A levels mathematics is still benefiting me. मुझे कुछ चीज़ों का नाम पता था जो आप बात करें, differential equations and all. And it's also great to know that there is so much happening in the Department of Mathematics, like you talked about the seminar series, and I'm sure there's a lot more happening at all of these different departments within the ambit of SBASSE. Kinza, you are enrolled in the MS Mathematics program.
PhD.
I'm so sorry, it's the PhD program, but we'd request if you could kindly talk about your academic background. from the very beginning, and now mashallah you're pursuing your PhD program. And also, how has it been for you?
Thank you.
एक तो खास तौर से मुझे बहुत शौक भी है कि सवाल पूछने का कि कितना मुश्किल है कितना आसान है, ताकि सबको पता हो ना.
आप A levels के बाद PhD नहीं कर सकते.
A levels के बाद नहीं हो सकता.
नहीं.
आप अकाउंट क्रिएट कर लें प्लीज.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I have done my undergrad from Government College University in mathematics,
ठीक है.
and then further MS again from GC University Lahore.
Okay, okay.
And then I even 1 year I was RA in LUMS, and there I was working as a research assistant in the field of mathematical biology. And then in 2019 I was enrolled as a PhD student here in maths department.
Okay.
And as Dr. Hania said, there is a lot of opportunity in other department as well. Like right now, I'm doing my research, and it is basically a collaborative project with EE department as well.
Okay.
Because I have that recent opportunity of international exposure, I would say. And this it was based on that project, which was collaborated with EE and Technical University in Germany, in Kaiserslautern. So there is a very, very good experience with this project as well. So if I talk about the environment, definitely comparison with the other university is there is a huge difference between the research environment, I would say, or the faculty is very supportive, and not only my supervisor but the other faculty members are also very welcoming and helpful.
When I was actually preparing for so before I do a webcast, I look at the stuff that I'm going to talk about. So I was also thinking of asking you the same thing, that you must have had different options, and now that you've told me that you did your undergraduate at GCU, then your master was also at GCU, and what made you pursue your PhD at LUMS?
The main, I would say, the research background of the department. I would say the faculty is from diverse background. I mean, there is lots of opportunity of different, I would say, field of interest. There is, my field was numerical analysis, but there is the one field which was mathematical biology. I pursued 1 year with that field. Then I thought about another chance of doing something else. So then I moved in a machine learning point of view, which I would say a drastic change for my field as well. But the thing is, I have that opportunity there. Or I would say any student can pursue here being a PhD student or as a RA. I mean, there is opportunity of RA as well. If you are not even a student here, I was not a student here, and I was RA 1 year. So this is a very good environment, which is, I would say, not. I can't see in other institute.
I get it. So far, the students that we have included in our webcast were the ones who did their MS at LUMS, and then they were pursuing their PhD at LUMS. But it's so refreshing to get your point of view as well. Again, as you mentioned, LUMS has a lot of focus on research, and this is what we discussed in our previous webcast as well with electrical engineering, and with the one before that with the computer science faculty. The thing that actually sets us apart from many other universities in Pakistan and some of the universities outside Pakistan as well is our focus on research. It's not just a teaching university or a teaching school, it's the teaching and research, and also making sure that we are as linked with the industry, with the practical implementation of what we're teaching as possible. And also the interdisciplinarity aspect which you referred to. So I want to come to that again, but before that, I'm very, very, very glad that we have questions coming in from our social media as well. And there is one which makes me talk to you about the eligibility criteria to enter the MS and the PhD programs, whoever wants to pursue the biology program. But also the specific question is it possible to get admission at an age of 43? So is there an age limit that we have set for people?
I think not.
Because last time जब हम PhD management का करते last 2 years back, so Dr. Ghazal, I remember she said कि 100 से ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए.
Right, that's true. In principle not, theoretically it's not. But generally speaking, when we look in more detail, we generally analyze that the people which are more involved in recent studies and research, and they are energetic
Okay.
regardless whatever the age they have. So generally, as people grows, their age is little old and they are disconnected with the modern emerging science, and then they immediately wake up and start thinking, I should do PhD. Then it's difficult. So if you are well connected, if you are well connected with emerging knowledge of that particular field, and you are energetic, you have passion, definitely there is no limit for age.
Okay, and what about the other components of the criteria to enter the MS program?
Yeah, so
PhD?
MS program, there's a admission test. You have to pass that. Then after admission, if you pass the admission test consists of two parts. One is written test, and then there's interview.
Okay.
So the combination of both basically decides if a student or a candidate is eligible to be entered in program.
Okay.
In any of these two programs. I think MS and PhD, the procedure is almost same, but for the PhD there is little
extensive.
The bar is a little higher.
Okay, okay. And also now that we are talking about the entrance examination requirements, to enter at any of the graduate programs being offered through the Sayyid Babali School, you have to take 2 exams. So ek to ho gaya LGAT, or you could go for GRE, graduate record exam. It's up to you. अगर आप GRE देना चाहते हैं तो LGAT exempt हो जाएगा. अगर आप LGAT देते हैं तो you don't have to go for GRE. And then there is this subject specific test as well. So if you're entering biology, or if you're going for let's say PhD in mathematics, तो आपको उसका specific exam जो है वो लाजमन देना पड़ेगा. And this was a question that had come from Omer. And yeah, also I'd like to route you to the LUMS website as well, lums.edu.pk, and it has all the information regarding the important dates and the fee structure and the eligibility criteria, and also the faculty profiles are available over there. So if you want to, align your research interest before you apply to any of the graduate programs, please make sure you are browsing our website as well. Dr. Hania, a question. Who would an ideal candidate be for the MS mathematics program, or for the PhD mathematics program as well?
Right, so the ideal candidate for the MS program or the PhD program would be someone who has, so let's talk about the MS program first, so someone who has pursued an undergraduate degree in mathematics. So that's important.
Okay.
Because the graduate courses are, as one would expect, intensive and heavy on, the mathematical content.
Okay.
And so if you haven't, जैसे Dr. Shahzad ने भी कहा कि अगर आप, adept नहीं हैं with, that level of math, and you're not able to do, then you won't be able to do it. Even if you survive, you won't be able to, do it well. So I think the ideal would be for MS is someone who's pursued a degree in mathematics, at least. And because I think there is a possibility कि जो subject test है उसमें आप फिर भी clear हो जाएं. Like if you have an engineering background, yeah, if you have a background जिसमें आपने फिर भी कुछ थोड़ी बहुत mathematics पढ़ी हुई है, तो वो हो सकता है. But ideally it should be a degree in mathematics. And of course फिर MS के जो test होता है, if you clear that test, तो you will still make it through to the interview. So we also have interviews for MS candidates.
So we have them for
at
MS.
maths we do.
Okay.
So we interview the MS candidates. So there is a certain cutoff. जिससे ऊपर we just straight away send them offers, and then there's उस cutoff के नीचे जो बच्चे होते हैं, with still a decent score, जिनको we like to interview them before we offer them.
Okay.
Right.
I see.
So उसमें फिर filter out हो जाता है, आपको पता चल जाता है कि बच्चे की background adequate है कि नहीं.
So if we have to talk about the eligibility criteria, so उसमें interview if called wali option is still,
it is there.
Component is still there.
There's a possibility you might be called for an interview if you're below a certain bar in the test.
Okay.
And PhD के लिए there is again the test, and then we interview the PhD candidates as well. वो तो we interview all the PhD candidates. उसमें there is no if.
Okay.
So उसमें they are asked to present their graduate thesis जो भी उन्होंने किया था math में.
ठीक है, ठीक
So they give a short presentation, and then we just cross question in the sense just to know how much what it was about and how comfortable you are with the subject and stuff like that.
And is it necessary that you have to be, brilliant in terms of your research skills before you're applying to the PhD management or PhD mathematics program?
Yeah, so this interview, the way it's been designed, if you're not up to a certain level, you're not comfortable presenting your work, and that kind of translates into your presentation.
Okay.
When you do present.
Okay.
And it's not hard to make out कि आप नहीं कर पा रहे या आप. But I would say one thing here, that we've had I know a former student who's recently graduated who was very nervous giving his presentation in the PhD interview. But of course he's just graduated, so it goes without saying that he aced he made it to he made the cut, and he did very well. He was a very good student. So
Okay.
it's people who are interviewing you have their ways of finding out. So it's not just your confidence level, but आपकी जो grasp होती on the subject, that goes beyond the confidence level. So even if you're really nervous, that's really not a big issue.
The interviewers understand that.
The issue is basically how good you are at. There's a certain level expected of you,
Okay,
because
of
you're
course.
going to do like a terminal degree
Yeah.
in mathematics. So you have to be at a certain level. So फिर उसके beyond you can do a PhD.
Okay, बिल्कुल सही. And Dr. Shahzad, are interviews part of the MS recruitment process as well? Yeah, हम
हाँ, हमारा बायोलॉजी का इंटरव्यू भी होता है.
बायोलॉजी के होते हैं.
बायोलॉजी का इंटरव्यू.
ठीक है, तो वो भी इतने एक्सटेंसिव होते हैं या MS लेवल पे और या PhD लेवल पे ज़्यादा एक्सटेंसिव होते हैं इंटरव्यू?
PhD में ज़्यादा एक्सटेंसिव होता है. MS पे ब्रीफ होता है. आप बेसिक, बहुत ही बेसिक नॉलेज उसका जो फंडामेंटल रिक्वायरमेंट है, यू जस्ट चेक. बट PhD पे ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज अ बार इज लिटिल हायर, उसमें आप ज़्यादा एक्सटेंसिवली देखते हैं. So I do want to mention, we don't expect really the person is really good in research for PhD, even for PhD candidate.
ठीक है.
What we look at is that the candidate is good in fundamental concepts of what she has studied in his
Okay.
previous class. So this is important thing, that if someone is really good in the fundamental concepts of that level, I think that's the main thing.
Gee, I would also like to echo the same.
Please do.
For mathematics. So आपने पूछा था, I didn't answer your question properly. So we're not judging how good they are at doing research. ठीक है, वो हमारा काम है.
Yeah, we will train.
हाँ, that training is part of our job basically. But it's basically like Dr. Shahzad said, it's the fundamentals. Yeah, fundamentals are right. तो फिर that's what should possibly get you in.
बिल्कुल सही, बिल्कुल सही. And now that we have been talking about the PhD programs and the requirements, I must also let you know, and again, if you guys have been following our discussion, all the 6 doctoral programs being offered at Syed Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering are not only fully funded, but you also get to enjoy a stipend as well for the period of your degree program, which is at least 4 years.
4 years.
Not
Yeah,
for the whole.
So अगर आप ज़्यादा delay करना चाह रहे हैं तो वो possible नहीं है. For the 4 years we have you covered.
Right,
So
right.
I guess it's 50,000 rupees per month right now.
Right.
But then through my discussions, in prior discussions, I've come to know that students can be engaged in multiple projects, multiple
Right,
research
right,
projects,
right.
and if there is funding associated with a certain project, then you also get to
Right,
enjoy.
but that is not granted from the beginning.
That is
There's
not
definitely opportunities, but it's not promised from the beginning.
It's not promised, but yeah, if there are and if you want to avail,
Yeah.
then yes,
Yeah.
of course you can do that.
Yeah. I can, if you allow me, I can give
Please
you
do.
two examples of some kind of success of our programs, this graduate program. In last 2 years, 2020 and this year, 2021, I think 10 PhD graduated. I think 5 last year and 5 this year. And out of those 10, 9 have already got postdoc position in some very good universities, institutes in United States.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
including National Institutes of Health, which is possibly one of the leading institute in biological sciences. Then another example, just I think 2 weeks ago, some of our old students were visiting, who two students who graduated in 2016 from MS, and both they finished their PhDs from Germany. One is Max Planck Institute, and other I think University of Heidelberg, and both are doing now postdocs. They graduated from MS in 2016. They finished their PhD in 3 years, and now they are doing postdocs. And one of those gave talk, I think, like 10 days ago here. And I was just talking to them. I was really happy, and I was just mentioning to one of those that I really gave you hard time when you were here in my lab. Uh, and he was really appreciating that hard time was really helped me to pursue
It
my
was needed, I
PhD.
guess.
Yeah.
I mean, martial art programs have been remarkably successful, and now, as you have mentioned, that in the past 2 years we had like 10 PhD scholars graduating, and 9 of them are pursuing their postdoctoral programs outside Pakistan.
Yeah.
So this
In,
is
all are in United States. Huh?
wow, this is a huge achievement. And inshallah, we'll also go to Dr. Hania and talk about some of the success stories with regards to the Department of Mathematics. But before that, and it also gives you time to come up with a few names maybe. Kinza, आपने पूरा process clear किया. You did your LGAT and then other examination as well. So how easy or difficult was it, and what would you recommend? What are some of the tips and tricks that you want to share with potential applicants, people who want to be applying to the PhD program offered at the Department of Mathematics?
As per subject test concern, I would say there is already some of the courses are mentioned on the website, which the subject test will be based on that courses, which is undergrad courses basically. And if courses are mentioned, then you can easily prepare yourself according to the test. And as per LGAT subject concern, this is totally based like a GRE or a GAT test generally, and that is practiced by, I guess, the NTS test and mixture of the GRE and NTS type exam. The difficulty, I would say, not really if you are fully prepared for your exam. Like
वो मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ fully prepared होते कैसे हैं?
fully prepared, I would say, if your grip on your subject in the undergrad is good, then you can easily you can definitely. I have done the same thing. I have prepared myself according to that courses, and the test was based on that courses. So if you have the grip on that courses, then you can easily.
Yeah, I'd just like to add here that it's not just the courses that they know. They know exact list of topics.
As well.
So they know topics that they need to prepare for the test. So if you're prepared, then it shouldn't be.
If courses is again divided into the
somewhat you have an idea of what you're gonna see in paper.
So then talk about interview level is basically the same as Dr. Hania said. That would be your MS research base, or if you have any recent research. Like in my interview, I present the recent research work which I have done in my RA-ship.
I see.
So it was good.
So you can manage it. One can manage it. You need adequate or appropriate amount of time to prepare for it. But if you're putting your head to it, then you can do it. We have a question that has come from S, and he's asking how much stipend is given to PhD students. I see we have students interested in applying to the PhD programs. But I've already answered this question. So we have you covered till 50,000 rupees per month. That's our commitment for a period of 4 years if you're joining us for the PhD program. And beyond that, agar aap projects वगैरह में हैं, so there are opportunities. But yes, our commitment is still 50,000 rupees per month. Okay, another question has come from Rashid, and he is asking, could you please elaborate the difference between applied mathematics and pure mathematics?
I don't think anyone can elaborate the difference because there is hardly any difference. I mean, it's I would like to answer this. So generally, differential equations and numerical analysis, such areas, or let's say fluid mechanics is something which, by its very name sounds like something applied. But there's a misconception that analysis belongs to, the applied side of mathematics, which is wrong. Even the applied side of mathematics is nevertheless mathematics, so you have to do it first to be able to apply it. So, it's like a chicken and egg thing. Is it math or is it applied? It's So pure mathematics is simpler to state. So usme, there is algebra. And then there's
algebra keeps popping up over and over again.
Because you like it.
Yeah, maybe because I'm probably more closer to algebra than analysis. And then there's analysis, then there's geometry. So these, you can say that this is like, a very coarse, classification of pure mathematical subjects. But then there is an applied side of all of this, which is, but it's, so applied आप इस तरह से समझ सकते हैं कि differential equations में जो है there is a part of the theory which is very theoretical, जिसमें theorems होते हैं that you prove existence of solutions, convergence of solutions, analytical solutions, simulated solutions, blah blah, and numerical solutions. And then there is the applied side of things. So now you have a mathematical model which maybe looks like a differential equation, and फिर you want to find a solution for that mathematical model. So that's the story becomes applied. So I mean, there's hard to separate pure from applied, but here I'd like to mention that we do have some sort of streamlining in our graduate program. So we have core math courses that like 3 out of the 6 that you have to take are core, and 3 are elective math courses. And then there are 2 that are elective जो आप कहीं से भी ले सकते हैं from any
other
group,
departments
from any other department within the school. So the 3 math courses are basically applied specific or pure specific.
I see.
So just to give you an example, फिर algebra आ जाएगा, तो जो pure side पे आप algebra लेंगे, और लेकिन analysis is in both streams. That's common for both. And then there is other options, उधर होगी जो इधर नहीं होगी, इस तरह से there are combinations. But there is, it's not really a divide, but there is a certain divide. But then again, mathematics
like it's a very thin line, and you really have to
it's a thin line, and you typically go back and forth. And होता ये है कि you have to do some mathematics. Mathematics has to happen before you can apply it.
Okay,
right? So
of course. Like
it's
as you were saying, chicken and eggs. बिल्कुल सही. But मुझे इस बात से मुझे इसी समझ आ गई. If you want to discuss more in detail, Rashid, then you really need a separate session with Dr. Hania. Before we go to our next question that has come from Alina, I have another one which has come from Nadia, which is about, is it mandatory to take the Lgat for the MS program? Yes, Nadia, we've already discussed this in detail. Regardless of the program that regardless of the department that you're applying to, you will have to take the Lgat exam for the MS program or for the PhD program, and also you will have to take that specific subject-specific exam as well. In addition, when we talk about the eligibility criteria and the requirement that you'll have to fulfill, it is also required that you provide us with 2 letters of reference, recommendation letters basically, and also provide us with a personal statement and your research statement as well. That research statement I think is specific only to the candidates who are applying for the PhD programs. Let's talk about the last day to apply before we go on to the question. So the deadline to submit your application is 12th April 2022, and the deadline to take your GRE exam is 15th May, and also the last day to take your LGAT or your subject test is also 15th May 2022. So हम LGAT जो है और जो subject test है हमारा वो एक ही दिन पे करवाएंगे, and that is 15th May. But also please stay connected with our website because we keep updating information there, and that would be our first tool to communicate with you. Okay, coming back to the question that Alina had asked, so where are most of the MS biology graduates placed in different industries? And this also allows me to speak about Dr. Shahzad, किससे एक जनरल नोशन है कि अगर आप MS कर लो या PhD कर लो इन अ सर्टेन सब्जेक्ट लाइक इन प्योर साइंसेस तो आप एकेडेमिया में ही करियर परस्यू कर सकते हैं. सो इज दैट ट्रू या इट्स नॉट दैट ट्रू?
I think it's within Pakistan. It's somehow it's true. लेकिन अगर आपने लेकिन वो भी अगर बेसिक molecular biology में है. For example, bioinformatics. Many of our graduates they are going different industries.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. Because bioinformatics, informatics is emerging area, and there are lots of opportunity in private sector. Okay? But if you are doing MS or PhD in basic biology, which is molecular or cell biology, so within Pakistan, generally industry is not very well established.
ठीक है.
So the only option is generally academia. But if you go abroad for higher study, or if you pursue your career somewhere in Europe and America, there are lots of opportunities in industry and other private sector.
But Dr. Sahab, like जैसे हमने we have seen in after this whole eruption of COVID-19, मतलब
Right,
whoever
right.
was researching on viruses,
Right.
I mean ये भी तो हमने देखा है कि मतलब people have been working in the government sector even in Pakistan and you know forming policy and coming up with strategy. So is that something that you know allows an MS or a PhD biology graduate to work on or to work with?
Yeah, you know, when there is some problem, there is always a challenge and opportunity. Of course, there is opportunity for all of us to establish all those different systems which we are lacking in Pakistan, and I think slowly things are getting established.
Okay.
Yeah.
But right now the natural course probably would be to you know pursue a career in academia
Right.
if we are talking
Right.
about Pakistan.
Right.
Outside Pakistan, maybe the industry is far more developed and
Yeah.
the opportunities, you know,
Yeah.
are way more wide.
Right.
Okay, another question that we have got from our from Basharat is that could you please elaborate about the kind of research presentation that is expected in interview if shortlisted for the PhD mathematics program?
About the presentation.
Yeah, I think people
Right.
are really worried about that.
No,
so.
no, no, so that so let me explain. So it is you know when you're coming in and you're applying for a PhD, of course you've done some graduate degree before, you know, post like some master's degree before, or you've done a BS honors degree before. So usme there is generally it is the case that you've done some sort of thesis or some project.
I see.
And basically the presentation is to hear you out, what you have done. So it's supposed to be something very brief, because students who prepares a long presentation, so you know we sometimes have to you know cut them short and say you know just try and explain us in words what it is about, you know. It's not really supposed to be like a research presentation.
Okay.
It's just meant to give us an overview of what you've done.
So it doesn't have to be 100 slides.
Of course not. Of course not.
Not
Maybe
more
three,
than 20.
maybe 3 or 4 would do.
Okay.
But you know, just to be able to say it more out in words than
Okay.
you know, just walk us through equations. That's not what we want. So the idea इससे हम ये gauge करते हैं कि आपका पहले interest क्या था, ठीक है, आपने क्या topic pursue किया हुआ है, and then we want to know what kind of mathematics you've been using for it, right?
Okay.
So for instance आपने कोई chemical bonds की कोई symmetries या कुछ study की हैं, तो it's something very applied, but maybe you've used some sort of graph theory for it. So we want to know कि आपकी कितनी knowledge है about graph theory and what or differential equations, whatever math you've used in that project, that's what we want to know through your presentation. So it's not really the project and the equations that appear or the model.
Okay.
It's the kind of maths जो आपने उसके अंदर किया है. ठीक है.
ठीक.
So वो आप हमें बता देंगे and उसके बाद we'll take it from there. Then we'll ask you about questions, and it's basically about your fundamentals, you know, basic fundamental math जो आपको आना चाहिए.
So it's like basically it starts with the presentation and maybe then a discussion
and
that
it's very,
takes place.
It's very we are very a bunch of very patient people. I have never seen anybody rush a PhD student you know through हमने हाँ ये ज़रूर कहा होगा कि आप you know आगे result बता दें हमें, you know, just to because it was too many slides or something. But whenever we saw that a student was getting nervous, हमारी questioning से तो we would step back. So
Okay.
harder questions से we come back to and it typically happens कि जब आप एक easy question से शुरू होते हैं तो एकदम से your confidence bounces back and it is intimidating. हम सबके लिए होता है, हम भी इसी stage से गुजरे हैं, so we all understand that it's very intimidating sitting in front of a bunch of faculty members and giving these interviews. So ये हम सब जानते हैं. And we're very patient with students. ऐसे नहीं होता कि
Yeah, so you don't have to be worried about that.
You don't have to be worried. How you should be prepared. And I would say that what would really help you is a small presentation as you can make. It's like maybe something that ends in 5 or 10 minutes.
ठीक है.
And उसमें आपने sir, you just have to give us an overview of whatever the project was. And I think the best thing would be to prepare yourself, on the mathematics that were involved, and also to reflect that math, those the math that was involved in your small presentation, so that we can pick that out.
Of course, bilkul sahi. But you also have to understand, as Dr. Hania said, so you have to be prepared. All of the
preparation is important, but I mean, you don't have to be. I mean, it is intimidating. We've all been through this. We understand that. So we generally make all effort to, and probably Kinza can attest to that. I hope.
Yeah, exactly. Because I told you already, if you are prepared and if you know that what you have done in your MS, so it would be very difficult. No, it wouldn't.
It would be very difficult. That's what you want to say. I'm so sorry. I'm just like that. So it shouldn't be difficult. Yes, we understand that all of the programs at LUMS are competitive, quite competitive. We get applications, a lot of applications from within Pakistan, from outside Pakistan as well. But again, we give you like not only equal opportunity but adequate amount of that you are able to put forth your idea, and we are here to patiently observe and listen to you, and then discuss and converse with you what your idea really is and how you want to actually go about it once you join our program. Kinza, I also wanted to learn about and के एक PhD student का normal day जो है at LUMS कैसा होता है, because we tell कि if you are coming for a PhD program then you can't work outside, and we also of course offer the stipend as well, but at the same time कि कितना वो rigorous होता है, कितनी classes होती हैं, how do you get time to research, do you get time to meet your family, friends, possible है नहीं है?
It is possible. I mean, this is not like your supervisor is taking a gunpoint and you have to be like here. I mean, in the first year, I would say there is also opportunity to have your coursework. Like you can choose one course, two course in first semester. You can choose, because I was from government college and the culture was new for me. So I decided to take 2 courses in first semester. Then I took 3 courses in second semester.
I see.
So I just as you said कि अपने आप को prepare किया कि culture में
you can manage your workload.
Yeah. So I easily managed that कि 2 courses हैं, so classes week में it would be 3-4 classes. So it wouldn't that much difficult to manage, but then after coursework, then you have to focus on your research. So you can easily manage your hours. I mean, you can sit there is a space in the department for PhDs. There is a separate space, and you can sit there for 5 hours, for 7 hours. Anytime you can sit in your room, and you can manage accordingly. You can also, if your family time, if one day you are not able to come, so that wouldn't be like this is a very bad thing.
This
happens.
is the last day of your program.
Yeah, exactly. So it is easy to manage if you manage in this way. Not like if you are taking off of 2-3 days a week, then definitely that wouldn't be a good idea to do your work.
Of course, it makes sense.
If you allow me, I can add 2 things. It totally depends on the student. If you take it, seriously, you spend reasonable amount of time in learning and doing research, you will finish your PhD early. If you take, not very much serious this thing and waste some time, then you will lose your own time. You may end up finishing your PhD in 7 years. right?
No, that's not good.
We don't really
Or
put a
not
stick
at all.
on you. Yeah. And another component which I do want to mention as a part of PhD program is the comprehensive exam. So you have to do 18 credit hours coursework, and in addition to that, within first 2 years, you have two basically chances to clear that, which is really vigorous exam for the overall concepts of the student in
see.
that particular area. You have to pass that. It consists of written exams and also very extensive interview and oral exam.
Good.
It's not granted if you're admitted that you will get PhD. Yes, you have to pass those courseworks. You have to maintain the minimum credit hour, minimum credit. Your GPA should be all the time more than at least 3.0.
There's a certain requirement that you'll
Right,
have to
right.
fulfill. You have to
And then
make sure you're always
yeah,
beyond
and then
that.
you have to pass the comprehensive exam. If you're good, your fundamentals are good, there is no problem.
Shouldn't be a problem.
But this is requirement.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I think typically it might be also the case in biology that the courses that are set for the graduate program, the 18 credit hours that they take before the qualifier or the
Right,
comprehensive,
right.
they're also designed in progression to lead you to that.
Right,
So
right.
it's not that something you studied 10 years ago
No,
was where you're
yeah.
being tested. It's like
Makes sense.
it's a progression, meaningful progression to the
To the whole
qualifiers.
program, of course, makes sense. Bilkul. Thank you so much, Dr. Shazad. Thanks so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Hania and Kinza, for being with us. I hope the discussion was, beneficial for you. If you do plan on applying to any of the programs offered at the School of Science and Engineering at LUMS, please make sure you're not putting it for the last day. You're creating your account right now, and then of course it's a bit of a lengthy process. So you'll need time. You'll need to dig deep and learn about your own interests, and have to let us know about your aspirations. And if you have any questions with regards to the application process, so what we have done is that there is this button that you can use. It's basically Ask Admissions button inside the application portal. So once you create your account, if you are stuck somewhere, you can write your question to the admissions representative using that option, Ask Admissions option, and they will get back to you as soon as possible, of course, which is generally 24 hours. And a chat between you and the representative of the admissions office will be maintained. So in case अगर थोड़ी देर बाद आपको दोबारा एक question you've gotten stuck somewhere, so again you can write to them and they're very responsive. They'll get back to you. Last dates, I'd like to remind you once again, deadline to submit your online application is 12th April 2022. The deadline to take your GRE, LGAT and the subject test is 15th May. Between GRE and LGAT you can select which one you want to go for, but the subject test is also mandatory. Please do join us for our webcast tomorrow. That is for our programs MS and PhD Physics and MS and PhD in Chemistry. Take good care of yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.